to do a practice today to fire up the core. So please modify this practice in any way that you need to by placing the knees down during our planks. And otherwise, let's just get started. Thank you for being with me. We're going to start standing at the top of your mat here. Mountain pose, just close your eyes for a moment and settle in. Lengthen your spine, drop your shoulders, draw the navel back towards the spine, lift your pelvic floor. Take a few deep breaths to connect with your body. Let your eyes gently open. Let your arms sweep up over your head with a deep breath in. As you exhale, open those arms, hinge from your pelvis, soften your knees, fold your body in half. As you inhale, there's a half lift to lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, we release again. Inhale, sweep those arms back up overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. From the heart, rise. As you exhale, bend to the left side. As you inhale, rise to the top. As you exhale, bend to the right side. Inhale, rise to the top. Exhale, open both arms. Lead with your chest. Fold your body in half. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Reach and rise, breathing in and into the heart. From the heart, rise. Open up, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, soften. Step your feet back to plank position. From plank position, let your knees drop down to table position. Let your belly fall. Let your chest press forward. Let your tailbone rise. Breathing in. Breathing out. Round your spine to the ceiling. Drop your chin to your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Hug that belly up and in. Inhale. Drop the navel. Exhale. Spread the shoulders apart. To neutral, take your left hand, place it on your back, and as you inhale, twist towards the left, lifting the shoulder. Exhale, return to square. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more. Take the left hand, place it back down on the mat. Right hand now goes onto the low back, and we inhale, open the other way. Gentle rotation. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Beautiful. Both hands on the ground. Extend your right leg out behind you as you lift your heart, flex your foot. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, reach back and extend. Exhale, contract in the center, pull up with your navel. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Take those legs back behind now, curl the toes under, press your toe base into the ground, and gently hover your left knee off your mat. If you're comfortable here, start to lift that thigh a little higher. The knee starts to draw towards the nose. Drop your head, round your spine. Lift that thigh as high as you can. Slowly, with control, lower the knee back down underneath your head. And bring that right leg back into position. Left leg now extends back behind. Press your beautiful heart forward. Exhale, tuck your knee towards your nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. One more. We're going to take that leg, extend it back behind now. Tuck the toes under. Press into the hands, press into the toe base here. Let the right knee hover off the mat. If you're comfortable and feeling strong, start to lift the thigh a little higher. Round your spine, drop your head. Breathe. Slowly lower the knee back down to the mat. Left knee comes into place. Both sets of toes are going to curl under now. We're going to hover both knees off the ground, just a little. Hovering table. Hug in through the bottom of the rib cage. Hug in through the navel. Press strongly into your hands. Start to feel the sensation of the hands pressing forward, the hips moving back towards the thighs, towards the heels. And then begin to press the heels down, lift the hips up, and find downward facing dog. Soften the knees, look ahead, and walk or step ahead to the top of the mat. As you breathe in, half lift. As you breathe out, let go. Sweep those arms out and up overhead. Let your palms touch. And then exhale, draw it into the heart. Release the hands, let them rise, sweeping up. Open from the chest as you hinge at the hips, folding forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place the fingertips down, step back, plank position. Now you can always modify your plank position by letting the knees gently rest on the floor, but keep the belly drawing in, the hip bones drawing towards your rib cage. Otherwise, hold strong with straight legs. Try to increase the distance between your shoulder blades by pressing firmly into the ground. Try to squeeze the glutes, squeeze your inner thighs, press your heels back. Lengthen your heart forward just a little and keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. We're going to hold here for 3 really deep breaths. Breath. Gently let the knees drop, untuck your toes. Bend your elbows back towards your hips and slowly lower. Belly and chest to the floor. Extend through your toes, press into the tops of your feet. Lift your heart, a little baby cobra. Exhale, melt it down. Inhale, lift the chest again, pull your elbows in tight. Exhale. Last one, inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering, press into your hands and knees, come back to table. Curl your toes under, hover your knees just a little tiny bit off the mat. Feel your hands pressing forward now, your hips pressing back. Draw the belly towards the thighs, and then lift your tailbone high, send your heels down low. Soften the knees, look ahead, walk or step ahead, top of the mat. As you inhale, half lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, release your spine. Sweep your arms overhead, press your feet into the earth, rise. Exhale to your heart. Release the hands, sweep them up. Exhale, open up and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back, plank position. Your feet are hip distance apart here. Press into those hands. Now I'd like you to lift your right hand off the floor and then come down onto your right forearm. Lift your left hand off the floor, come onto your left forearm. Lift your right forearm off the floor, come back onto your right hand. Press into that hand, let yourself rise up onto the left hand. Raise your left hand, come down onto the forearm. Raise your right hand, come down onto the right forearm. Right hand comes into place. And then the left. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Now keep the belly scooping in as you let the shoulders come back forward over the wrists. Lower the knees if you like, or lower the whole body as a unit to the ground. Point your toes. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift your chest. Maybe press into the hands just a little bit more. Exhale. Inhale. Keep pressing into the hands this time as you rise your chest to come back to table position. Curl your toes under, hover your knees off the ground just for a breath here, holding strong. Start to press your hips back, your hands forward, drop your chin into your throat, drop your heels to the mat. Downward facing dog. Soften your knees, look ahead, walk, step, or hop ahead if you like to the top of your mat. As you inhale, half lift. Exhale. Sweep and rise. Come into your heart. Release and rise. Open and fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, plank. Now try to keep your legs together for me here, or almost together. Squeeze your inner thighs together. We're gonna tip your heels over to the right side. Stack your feet on top of each other. Raise your left arm. Side plank. Bring that left arm back down under the shoulder. Tip your feet to center. And then tip them over to the left. Stack those feet, squeeze your thighs, raise your right arm. Excellent, come back to the mat in plank position. One more time each side. Tip those heels to the right, raise your left arm. Exhale, hand comes down, heels come center. Take your heels over to the left, raise your right arm. Hand comes to the mat, heels come to center, bend your elbows and lower to the ground. Point your toes, press into the tops of your feet. Let yourself rise, lifting your heart, lifting the chin just a little. Exhale, slowly with control, melt back down. Inhale, lift and lengthen the belly. Exhale, slowly lower down. Press into hands and knees. Come back to table position. Curl those toes. Hover the knees off the ground. Press your hands forward. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep them drawing back in together as you begin to lift your tailbone. Lift your hips. Descend your heels. Drop your head. Relax your neck. Down dog. Soften your knees. Make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale. Sweep those arms, let them rise. Exhale to your heart. Just take a moment here to close your eyes and check in. Feel the heat generating in your body. Remember to let the focus be on your breath primarily. And drawing up and in with that low belly space as we continue our movement. Release the hands, let them rise. Deep inhale. Open up to fold. Lengthen. And step back to plank. Squeeze those inner thighs together. This time, let your heels drop over to your left side first this time. Raise your right arm. If it feels okay, go ahead and raise your right leg. And then place that foot on the floor behind you. Open your pelvis up more to the ceiling. Look up. Drop the seat down towards the ground. And then lift back up again. Sweeping back with that arm. Lower down. Lifting up. Lower down. Lifting up and hold here for a breath. Opening up your chest to the ceiling. Squeeze your bottom. Look down to your mat here. Make your way back to side plank. So stack those legs again. Take your right hand to the mat. Bring your heels back to center. Lower your whole body here to the ground. Lift your heart space. Downward dog. Take 2 breaths here, down dog. As you breathe in, come forward to plank position. Tip both heels now over to the right side. Stack your feet. Raise your left arm. If you want to go further here, we're going to lift your top leg. Place it behind you on the floor. Connect with the earth. Open your pelvis more to the ceiling. Open up your chest. Take a huge breath in. As you exhale, lower your pelvis to the ground. And as you inhale, rise up again. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Good. Hold on for 1 breath for me. And then look down to your mat. Make sure your shoulders over your wrist. As you stack your feet, come back to plank. Take your hand down. Pivot on those toes. Return to the earth nice and slow. Point your toes. Lift your heart. Press into the tops of your feet. And then raise your pelvis. Coming back to downward facing dog. Strong foundation in your hands. Strong support from the belly to raise those hips. Soften the knees. Top of the mat. As you breathe in, half lift. Breathing out, release down. Just take a moment here and ragdoll. Sway the body a little bit side to side. Release your wrists by placing the back of the hands on the floor if possible. Release your shoulders, release your neck. As you inhale now, lengthen your spine, look ahead. Exhale. Sweep out and up and overhead as you rise to stand. Exhale to your heart. Release the hands, let them rise. Open up and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, soften, step back, plank position. Shoulders right over top of the wrist. Push into the ground strongly. Lift your right hand off the floor. Take the right forearm down. Lift your left hand off the floor. Left forearm down. Interlace your hands together here. Hold on to elbow plank. For this one, you're going to keep your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Let both of your heels tip over to the left side. Press into the left forearm, raise the right hand. Forearm plank here, lift your bottom hip a little higher. Let the forearm on the right come back down, heels come back to center. Heels are going to go both to the right side now, feet stay staggered. Push into the right forearm, raise the left hand, raise your bottom hip off the ground. Good. Let that left forearm come down. Bring your heels back to center. Where your right forearm or right elbow is, place your right hand. Push into that right hand, rise up onto the left hand as well. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, lift your hips, downward dog. Push into the hands, press the heels down. Let the body come forward to plank. Lower to the earth. Point your toes, raise your chest. Downward dog. You're going to step your feet right together for me in the center line of the mat. Lift your tailbone, press into both hands strongly. Lift your right leg up off the floor. And as you exhale, move your shoulders over your wrists. Bring your elbow, so your knee to your elbow on the right side. Hold and hover. Lift your head, look ahead. Strong left leg, strong belly. One more breath. Next time you breathe in, go ahead and rise that leg as you push your hips back and up. And bring your right leg down to the ground. Left leg is going to rise up nice and high. Push into your hands strongly. As you exhale, bring your knee to your left elbow. Shoulders over wrist, look ahead. Inhale, let that leg rise. And then let it lower. Good, coming forward. Just come on to the knees here. Let's drop down onto those elbows again. Interlacing. Walk the knees in a little bit closer. Push down into your forearms as you curl your toes under and raise your pelvis up. Push down and forward with those forearms. Send your heels to the earth. Start to lift your gaze towards your thumbs as you walk your feet back and find your elbow plank position again. Push strongly into your forearms. Holding on. Separate your shoulder blades, hug your hip bones together, press back through your heels, press forward through your heart. 3 more breaths. And then slowly let your knees melt down. Let your pelvis melt down. Let your hands separate and lift up your chest here. Press into your forearms. Press your heart forward and try to lift your navel up slightly away from the mat. Lengthen the back of your neck and lengthen the sides of your neck. Let your eyes come down to the mat. Press into your knees for me. Lift your pelvis off the floor again. Press into the tops of your feet. See if you can lift your knees. Start to lift your hips a little higher. Look back towards your unturned toes. And then come back into plank. Lift your pelvis. Look back towards your toes. Come back to plank. We're going to do that 3 more times. Lift, press into those forearms. Hug your belly in. And lower. 2 more times. Good. This is the last one here. Let those knees melt down. Turn your elbows out wide. Let your head rest. Give your hips a little sway from side to side. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Feel your belly press into the ground. Feel your low back release on your exhale. One more time. Beautiful. From here, let's draw your legs a little closer together if they're apart. Bring your hands out in front of you on the mat, Superman arms. Spread out your fingers. Let your head rest. Lift your right arm and your left leg up off the floor. You can let your head lift as well. Extend and reach. The next time you exhale, go ahead and lower those 2 limbs. On the next inhale, left arm, right leg is going to lift.
Push the two limbs that are on the ground down. And lower. Lift both of your legs, keep your arms pressing into the earth. Excellent. Lower the legs. Press into the legs, lift your arms. And lower. Just take a moment here, rest your head, rest for 2 breaths. When you're ready, re-extend arms and legs. Begin to lift both the arms and the legs off the floor, lifting the head and chest. Start to pull your elbows back towards your hips here, lifting up a little bit higher, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Let your hands come to rest right alongside of your rib cage. Bring your feet back down and press into the tops of your feet. Let your chest rise higher. Hug your elbows into your sides. Keep pushing slowly all the way up until you're just resting on the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands. And then draw in with your navel. Lift your pelvis, using the belly strength to come back to downward facing dog. Press into the earth. Let your legs come together, center line of the mat. Right leg now is going to lift up nice and high. And this time as you bring your knee forward, you're going to bring it across your body, over to your left elbow. Shoulders move over the wrist, head is lifted a little. As you inhale, take it up and back. As you exhale, lower the leg down. Left leg, rise. Exhale across to your right elbow. Hold. Beautiful. Take it back up again. And lower. Let your knees come down to the earth. Have a seat back onto your heels here. Sitting up nice and tall with those shoulders. Circle the shoulders up, back, and down. We're just going to stretch out the wrists a little bit here after all of that work. We're going to take the hands out in front of you, but place the back of your hands on the ground. Spread out your fingers, spread out your thumbs from your fingers here, and just press the thumbs as well as the baby fingers down to the earth. Now, if you don't feel enough stretch, you can take your hands further forward and sit your hips a little further back. That will get you a little deeper. One more breath. And then one at a time, let your hands flip back. Take them up into prayer position, interlace, and then just make a little figure 8 with your hands here. And then see if you can change the direction, go the other way. And then let's make our way onto the back body here. Coming to sit in the center line of your mat. We're going to bring your feet in nice and close to your body here. Let your hands come behind your thighs and lift your chest as you walk your toes in as close to your body as you can. Keep lifting the chest, keep breathing deeply as you lift your feet off the floor. Try to squeeze your legs together a little bit here. And you can do any variation on this. Maybe just leave the toes down if you find it a little too much challenge, or even straighten your legs if you want more challenge. Just find something that feels like a challenge. We don't want to be too easy and we don't want to give up and do nothing. So just be where you can be and breathe. Maybe release your hands. Squeeze everything into the midline, including the muscles of your waist. Hold. If your legs are straight, bend them, bring them in closer. Take your hands behind your thighs. Round your spine now and roll your back onto the ground. Just keep your legs lifted, keep your shoulders lifted. We're gonna see if you can touch the soles of your feet here. Flex your feet, head and shoulders lifted, and then release the hold. Just stretch the fingertips forward. Press your legs away from you. Hover them off the floor. Bring them in press them out. Try to keep the head and shoulders lifted. Touch the soles of your feet. Press those feet away. Squeeze your thighs together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Beautiful. Bring the knees just above your hips. Take your arms out to T position on the floor. Rest your head and shoulders. And then send the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Try to flex your feet. Pull the baby toe edges of your feet down. Take a nice deep breath in as you press into your sacrum. As you breathe out, lift your head and shoulders up again. Reach your fingertips for your toes. And then we're going to just rotate the body here to bring your right elbow outside of your left knee or thigh. Now, if you're finding this a challenge, again, you can modify by bending the legs. But try to find some resistance, pressing the elbow into the leg back into the elbow. So really lift up your right shoulder. Hold on, but please don't hold your breath. Good, one more deep inhale. Exhale. Your next inhale is going to come back to center. And as you exhale, open your legs, reach between the legs. Inhale, squeeze together, reach for the sky. Exhale, reach between. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Legs are going to come back, arms are going to come back, lifting one more rib off the floor, and then rotating your left elbow outside of your right leg. Press leg into arm, arm into leg. Lift that left shoulder higher. Hug that belly down. Breathe. Release back to center. Soften your knees. Take your feet down to the edges of the mat. Open up your arms. Let your thighs drop together. We're going to interlace your fingers behind your head for me and let your head just rest down into your hands. Make sure your neck is long. You can support just the base of the skull with your thumbs here. Allow your feet to walk together in the center line of the mat. Lift your feet off the floor. Knees are above your hips. 90-degree bend at the knees. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor, but keep your head heavy resting in your hands. Allow for your right leg to extend out, just hover off the floor. Bring your right elbow up towards your left knee. Slowly bring that back. Shoulder blades are lifted. Right leg comes in. Left leg extends out. Right elbow lifts, but keep the elbows open. Let the shoulder move towards the knee. Slowly lower back down. Left leg comes in. Right leg goes out. Right shoulder towards the knee. Come back, shoulders down, leg in, left leg out. Left shoulder to right knee. Come back to center. Keep those shoulders lifted. Bring the knees in towards the chest and try to lift the back of your pelvis off the ground here. Bring your knees towards your face. Lower the sacrum back down. Bring the knees towards the face. Lift your sacrum. And lower. 2 more like that. Last one. Try to keep the elbows wide, the head heavy, but lift those shoulders. Hold for me here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently lower head and shoulders to the ground. Open up your arms back to T position. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your knees and legs drop over to the left side. You can rest your feet or your legs on the floor. Look away towards your right arm. Let your eyes come to center. Squeeze your legs together for me. Engage through your belly. Slowly pick up those legs and bring them back to center. Take a deep breath in when you arrive. As you exhale, bring the legs over towards the right arm. Let them rest on the floor and turn your head towards the left. Let your eyes come to center. Squeeze those legs together. Bring yourself all the way back. Place your feet on the ground, legs together. Extend those legs out. Reach your arms overhead. Full body extension here. Let your back arch up off the ground. And then press the belly down as you let those heels drag in. Pick your feet off the floor. Hands go behind your thighs. Pull your thighs into your belly into your spine, and lift your head up. Try to get your forehead to your knees. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then just cross your ankles for me here. Give your feet a nice little kick to arrive back up in a cross-legged seat. And then we're just gonna sit here for a moment with a nice tall spine. I'd like you to place your right hand on the floor beside you. Let your arm on the left reach up and over your head. Stretch through that side body now. Try to lean back a little bit with that left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, over to the other side. Lengthen through the exposed side of the rib cage here. Now on an inhale, we rise, and exhale, both hands to the ground behind you. Let your heart lift up. Press into the hands to lengthen your belly space. And then drop your chin down towards your chest here. And let yourself come forward, folding over those legs. Place the back of your hands on the floor. Let the fingers just curl naturally. Drop that chin all the way into your chest. And really just let your belly hang here. All that tension in the belly, now just let it release. Take deep breaths. Let yourself just release forward a little more here on this last breath. Slowly walk those hands back in towards your legs. Let the hands come to rest in your lap. Just let your thumbs join together. Make sure the shoulders are above your hips, your head is in line with the rest of your body. Close your eyes. And just feel the movement of the belly as you breathe. Feel grounded and rooted through your sit bones. Soft and heavy through the thighs, through the shoulders. Relax your jaw and your forehead. And just follow the wave of your breath. Release your hands as you open your eyes. Let the arms rise up overhead. Deep breath in. Palms are going to touch, and then the thumbs are going to come down and touch your forehead. Touch your heart. Bowing the head in. Nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, bowing forward. Let the hands come to rest back on the ground in prayer position. And then let the hands come back to the heart as you rise. And release whenever you're ready. And there we are. Thank you so very much for joining me in this practice, stimulating your core and reminding you of that inner strength. Sometimes we are forgetful of how much power that we have, and this practice is intended to remind you. So thank you for being here. I wish you the very best day. Namaste.